How's it going, everyone? I'm Sir James, coming at you guys with another custom lightsaber review. This time we have Anakin's lightsaber from Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe this is also the same hilt that Anakin's been using throughout the events of the Clone Wars. Unless if it's changed, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that one. It's hard to memorize everything Star Wars, to be quite honest. Now, this particular lightsaber was obtained through NSabers and is made by TXQ. So if you're interested in this hilt, I do have an affiliate link in the description down below where you can use to get yourself a little bit of discount if you so desire, whether it's for this or anything that they tend to offer on their site. Now, I do apologize if I feel like I'm slightly rushing this review because it is extremely hot. And the reason why I haven't got this review out is because I was waiting for hopefully cooler weather to do this. It's not working out in my favor, so I'm going to try to get through this as best as I can before my camera overheats and before I overheat. So with that being said, let's go ahead and give you guys a closer look at this hilt. A very shiny chrome hilt indeed. So in terms of activation, it's going to be located right here. This is your control box. It's a 2-button setup. You have your upper button and lower button. I've seen this hilt where sometimes this is like the activation, or even this one acts as buttons, but not on this particular one. It might be a 89 Sabers brand, or just depends on how it's built. You do, of course, have your cover tech wheel located right down here, control box, and so forth. Now, this one is actually a little bit of a newer version because I had one prior to actually getting the upgraded one. The one that I had previously was a bit on the lighter side for a lightsaber, but this newer one here actually uses a copper, what's the word I'm looking for? The internal portion of the hilt is mostly out of copper, and it's giving that extremely weighty feel, which kind of makes sense because in the Clone Wars there was a moment where Anakin handed Padme his lightsaber and said, "It's yours." And then she makes the reference that, well, Jedi's lightsaber is, wow, it's actually heavier than I thought it was, and things like that. And pretty much it fits, you know, within that episode quite well. Now, getting access to the internals, you're going to go ahead and unscrew this bottom pommel section here where the grips are located, just like that. Be careful when taking this apart. You don't want to drop this on your foot because this section here is quite weighty indeed. In fact, you might be able to see all the copper on the inside there. Very cool. So over here we have our Profi board. And then we have our removable battery. Now, it may not be looking like it's removable, but because the chassis is also removable as well. So there you go. And then now you can go ahead and remove the battery, or you can charge it directly on there because on the bottom here, close to the speaker section, you have your USB-C charging ports. Now to pop this back in, you're just going to go ahead and look to where the arrows are located right here. And you're just going to go ahead and match that up with the control box here. That's pretty much how you know which way it goes. Just like that. You should not really hear click, but it should like click into place, if that makes sense. And pop those two pieces on, and you're going to go ahead and tighten up just like that, and you are ready to use. Now, as far as blade size goes, a lot of the common sabers tend to use 1-inch blade types. This particular one is actually going to be using a thinner blade, which is going to be the 7/8. Now, fortunately, I never got the chance to customize the saber fonts on here. I was hoping to add one particular font, specifically from Revenge of the Sith, where it's Master Skywalker, there are too many of them, what are we going to do? There's actually a saber font that someone has made specifically for that I was going to toss on here, but unfortunately, since I recently upgraded my PC, I haven't gotten the chance to fully put all the programs that I use back on there, such as the one that I used to upgrade Profi sabers. But I do have something that I want to show you guys before we put the blade in, and I actually have an autograph from the actual person who played as the young Padawan. So I have Anakin's saber right here, the exact one that he uses in the film. And then of course I have the signature for this child right here. Well, now he's an adult, but I just wanted to go ahead and showcase that because I thought it was really cool, and there's a reason why I wanted to put that saber font, because I mean these two go hand in hand. I know it's dark, the dark portions of Star Wars, but I like it. I'm pretty happy to have his signature. I just thought that was pretty cool to share. So again, the blade is going to go ahead and sit like that. And for the retention screw, normally you have like little notches towards the top, but this one, the little screw is just located right above this piece here, that little silver piece. Now, as far as blade depth goes, if you're curious, the blade sits in about that much, right where my finger is. Come on now. Right where my finger is the top. The rest of this sits right inside. Just like that. Man, it is so hot right now. Don't worry, I'm going to get through this as best as I can. Now, because I didn't get the chance to add any saber fonts or change anything, right now this is pretty much default how you're going to get it, which is something that you've heard numerous times already. So by default, it does come with over 20 lightsaber fonts. You do also have gesture controls like the twist on and twist off. In fact, it's currently on sleep right now. So, twist off, and twist on, there you go, and it's got the twist on as well. And then of course, you're just going to go ahead and press the button downwards to go ahead and cycle through. If you hold the top one and let go after like a second, you'll have your music tracks, and then I'll show you guys how to change colors here in just a moment. So let's go ahead and turn off this light and activate. Now, as far as the saber goes, it actually feels quite comfortable because it's the thinner version of the Graphics Help, especially using that thinner blade. It just makes the body quite comfortable when it comes to wielding the saber. And especially if you're a big fan of Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, a pretty good hilt to have for your collection. Now, for changing the saber colors, and hopefully I get it right this time, it's top then bottom. Nope, or bottom then top. There you go. So you hold down the button on the bottom first, then press the top, you'll hear a sound, then you can go ahead and cycle through the colors. In fact, let's go ahead and remove this box here so you guys can see from the reflection. As you can see, you have multiple colors. So we're just going to go ahead and select it's orange. And we're going to go ahead and go to a it's kind of like a goldish yellow. So, pretty nice. Again, there's a lot of saber fonts on here. In fact, I think I was already on Anakin, right?
Anakin.
Yeah, so that was Anakin's started off as. But you do get, by default, some Episode 3 stuff on here, too. Oop. Wrong one.
I am told it is the dark saber.
Of course, the Mandalorian. Quite honestly, just swinging that like that, I thought I was gonna maybe perhaps scrape my hand or fingers on the control box here. I mean, the edges aren't like sharp or anything like that, but I thought like maybe it was gonna be a little bit painful if I just like don't do it right. And surprisingly, the control box is not getting in the way, which is pretty amazing to me.
Anakin. General Kenobi.
So you get that on there. And then
Kenobi.
Maul.
Kenobi.
So
I can see it.
And then some classics on there.
Tell me, is this training?
So, like, even by default, since you know, we got the Episode 3 hilts here, you do get a good amount of Episode 3 saber fonts.
Dark Sith Red. You cannot die. Yoko to Bantha Puto.
Again, I like this one. You guys know that by now. I just love, you know, this is pod racing. Ew. Now, if some of you might be kind of curious, can I do like the Anakin twirl? I have no idea how to do that. So, if you know of a good tutorial on what to find online of how to do that twirl spin, let me know. But, you know, that one's pretty simple right there for the Obi-Wan.
Electric.
I'm just kind of cycling through the fonts here.
String. Teensy. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Luke Skywalker. I am told it is Cal Kestis Anakin.
And back to where we started. Boom, just like that. So, overall, it's actually a very comfortable hilt. And there was, honestly, I kept going back and forth if I wanted to mention this because I feel like if I say it, some people might get mad and say it's spoilers, and others might be cool with it. So I'm just gonna flat out say it. Now, in Anakin's appearance in Ahsoka, all right, and I waited long enough because I never talked about Ahsoka previously, is there was a thing that I found, and I couldn't find it anymore, and I don't know if this is 100% true or not, but supposedly the hilt that Anakin had on his belt from the Clone Wars flashback was he actually had this hilt, and I don't mean like this hilt specifically, but actually from THQ, the company who made this particular one. Supposedly, again, I found it once or twice in an article floating around the Saber community, and I don't know if that's 100% truth or false or just a ways to promote sales or not. But if it's true, then you know you have something that was technically used for on-screen purposes of the Ahsoka show. If not, then I'm feeding you false information right now, and I feel foolish doing so. But it's kind of hard to like get confirmation on stuff like this, but if it is, then cool. Honestly, I think that is pretty dope, and even more of a reason why to get this particular hilt. But again, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for joining me, and like again, I feel sorry that this seems like a little bit of a rushed video. It's just, again, it's extremely hot. I'm really uncomfortable right now, but I wanted to get this out to you guys because I did promise you guys a Saber review, and I said today that even if it's hot, I'm just gonna push through it and get to it. I'm gonna get to it. But until then, thank you guys for joining me, and always remember, may the Force be with you.